Testing. Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2. All right. Yeah, get that over there, over here. Yeah, thank you. Mm-hmm. What? Wow. That's a lot. Oh, shit.
Don't say a word about tomorrow. Channels Television's breaking news.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Turn all this. Thank you very much for the Marthin Wowerending band. I appreciate it. Thank you. I think the all fans appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Geezy Truth News. It is September 5th, 2018. Wow, folks, we got a lot to talk about on today's show. Look, you guys are going to have to grab some popcorn, your pajamas, or whatever you got to do, because it's going to be a long one tonight. We got a lot of things to talk about. There's too many things. We got a lot of bad news. We got a lot of good news. We got a lot of all kinds of news, and I'll tell you what, it's a mixed bag. So what's going to happen is we're just going to be all over the place. And we're going to talk about everything, flip-flop all over. And, you know, this is how it's going to go. Callers call in. The phone line should be open. Looks like my technical engineers are contacting me as we speak. Looks like, oh, they want me to, oh, okay. Thank you, Tom. It looks like there may be some technical difficulties on tonight's show. Hopefully, not too many problems. So, all right. Well, where do we get started, huh, folks? Let's take a look. Let's take a gander. One of the biggest events is that there's been a kerfuffle about all the media ganging up on Donny Boy and all the same sneezy. There's been a lot of evidence that has been put out, including QAnon, that we're going to talk about all this stuff coming up. And so, right off the bat, breaking news here. And as we already suspected, folks, and not to mention, we're gonna remember the main topic is always pedogate. We always got to figure all that sneezy out, because that's the main culprit of the whole shebang here. The whole design of this concoction that they've been doing all these things is there's a lot of evidence, and a lot of people have proven that it's all because of this, the pedo ring, and we have more updates on that as well. And so we'll see about all that. So anyway, let's check it out. Let's check it out on the news updates here. We have new evidence. And again, like I said, we've known about all this. Right here. Twitter. Algorithms were not always impartial. Well, yeah, obviously there was a word about that. Remember, you know, maybe, I mean, not even a year or two ago, but, you know, they've been talking about it. And it looks like Twitter chief executive Jack Dorsey has told U.S. lawmakers the company's algorithms have not always been impartial. So there you have it. The platform unfairly reduces the visibility of 600,000 accounts, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's the whole same sneezy throughout across the board. And here we have direct evidence from these yahoos from the Twitter board or whatever. So here you go. We'll have our great engineers, our technical engineers, Tom and Jack, send over the sources, because that's the thing. Not a whole lot of people post sources, but here at Geezy Truth News, we make sure to post all the sources that we can, every single one. And callers call in. Sources you got, bring them in. You want to talk about some kind of you know, conundrum, whatever's going on, bring it on the table. This is the whole point. This is the whole point. So there you go. Point one, Twitter in peril. And you know what? All these guys, and we have more sources to talk about all that as well, but all these guys are losing. It's great. We have fantastic news today. We have the QAnon updates. We have our secret Geezy Truth News intel that have the updates for us. And actually, it's so secret that he wasn't willing to go on the show. But I will divulge that information right after these few breaks, after we talk about all that. But first we have to talk about all this information right off the board. So here we go. So we got this. We could get that out of here. And there's a big thing going on. Remember when we talked about NASA? What was that? Was that NASA? Talking about a couple years ago, it was a year or two ago, talking about how they found out that CO2 was actually doing the complete opposite of what they've been saying. Instead of warming, it's been cooling, and all these, data structures that they showed and all this. And of course, a lot of it can be fluffed, but that one specific article is nothing to hoot about, because that's a pretty big deal. So the fact that it's a complete opposite tells you one thing, that there's a lot of incoherence with the whole shabop of that. So here we go. What we're talking about. This is quite possibly one of the biggest news of the, there's a lot of things to talk about, but this is huge right here. We just had to, usually we do Geezy Truth News every once in a while. We try to get it. People call in. People try to do things. We try to work hard for the show and to make it happen. But this time, we really had to make it happen. Here we go. Natural News. I believe, is that Mike Adams? There you go. That's the one we were talking about. Mike Adams of Natural News. He's the guy who made want.video as a competitor for YouTube, because, of the whole thing about all that. With the how they're taking over and banning people, or shadow banning, all this stuff. So anyway, so here's the article. Tom and Jack, go ahead and post that right away, as that's an important one. Science study. Rising CO2 producing miracles in quotations. Regreening effects across the planet as global tree cover rapidly expands. So get a load of that, ladies and gents. All this warming, cooling, people, what was that guy who made those two movies that global warming is going to kill us all? What was his name? Al Gore? That guy. All the people who spent a penny, all the people that spent all their hard work and money to those videos, to those movies, whatever. Here you go. What are you going to do when you find out that it was completely... this is hilarious. You guys realize that, okay, so they were saying that more CO2 is the warming, and that the planet is going to die, and we're all going to die, and blah, blah, blah. Give me money. Remember the carbon credits? The carbon credits? That is ridiculous. Who remembers the carbon credits? Are they still trying to push that agenda? Huh, Tom? I don't know. I don't know if they are or not, but it's pretty absurd. So, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, this ain't no Tom and Jerry show. What's really happening here is that the more CO2 means the more trees, which means, along with the NASA article, that things are getting better. And by saying things are getting better is an understatement, because what they've been trying to explain this whole entire time is how warming is collapsing and blah 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 blah. This is in terms of the global climate, right? In terms of weather, in terms of our geosphere and all that. In terms of that, things are completely the opposite of what they say. Now, we'll get into economy later. That's not so different in that people, returning viewers who listen to the show, and people who do their own research know what's going on with all that, and we'll talk about all that later. But bottom line is, there's that. So that's a huge victory. I mean, that's fantastic. Now, that's not to say, I'm not trying to say that, I mean, the good guys are winning, folks. I mean, listen to that. The good guys are winning, and we are doing great. So, you know, understand that. And everybody's got to do their part. If everybody did their part, we would have won a long-ass time ago. It's a slow, steady pace. Which, you know, what's that saying? They say the slow and steady wins the race. Okay, fine. I'll deal with that. Over here at Geezy Truth News, we try to live on island time. And you know what? Some may say that's bad. Some may say that's good. But, hey, what can you say? You gotta live life somehow, right? So, my point being is that just because we heard these great news doesn't mean that there's not cockroaches out there trying to belittle and sabotage and do bad things and all kinds of, you know, the bad guy, what bad guys do. So here's an article pertaining to that. Here's that. So we have this, the one previously saying how everything's fantastic. Now this one is saying, oh, look, our favorite lobbyists from Monsanto. So here's what the article says. It says, lobbyist claims Monsanto's Roundup is safe to drink. However, when you read the article, apparently, which is quite funny, they offer, he says that the Monsanto's Roundup is safe to drink, so they offer him a glass. And it says, quote, freaks out, end quote. And so, yeah, there you go. I mean, you get them right where their kahoonies are. So here you go. Here's the cockroaches at work, and we're winning. They're trying to do their best to do other Monsanto poison tricks with the seeds, and the seeds stop. You know that whole thing. And so here they are. They posted it, and there you go. The lobbyist didn't drink it. If the lobbyist is fighting for Monsanto, you'd think he would drink it, but he didn't. Yeah, and I see people texting me, I see on the soundboard or on the technical view board, it says that, you know, people want to talk about the Kavanaugh thing. Look, the Kavanaugh thing is nothing interesting. I mean, they're gonna sign him in. I mean, yeah, they're grilling him, but I mean, what's the big deal? They're gonna do what he's got to do. They're gonna bring him in. It's nothing special. So the Kavanaugh thing is a moot point. It's all these little distractions. You don't want to talk about the distractions. You want to talk about the real things. And speaking of which, we got, you know, talk about the White House. You know, speaking of which, I guess we might as well talk about this now. I'll just to get it out of the way. So, I got this new report saying that Chief of Staff John Kelly reportedly quotes, he says, this is his quote, I don't know what any of us are here. Excuse me, I don't know why any of us are here. This is the worst job I ever had. End quote. So I don't understand. And then there's other bad quotes that I don't even want to mention. I mean, this is horrible how, like, this is crazy town. They're considering it crazy town and everybody is a goofball or something like that. Look, I'm not here to play games, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not here to play games, and I don't think anybody else is. I don't think you want to play games in your own court. You know, this is our country. We're patriots in the United States of America. God bless. It's our duty to figure out what's going on here. If this is a game, if John Kelly, if you think this is a game, then resign and go back to playing games or whatever you want to do. Go back and play basketball with your kids or something. Because this is absurd. What kind of quote is this coming from the Chief of Staff? I don't know why any of us are here. Worst job I ever had. Well, excuse me. And it's not just him. It's a lot of these guys who are saying all this stuff. I mean, it's outrageous. You put these clowns up to, and then they call, and where's the hypocrisy? The hypocrisy is they call Donny Boy a clown. When these clowns are clowning around, they're making $200-300 grand a year, doing what? Making millions off lobbyists, to be sure. Would not be surprised. You always have to assume things like that, just because that's how it's been for a while now. Ever since 1913, if not earlier. So there you go. I mean, it's absurd. It's childish. It's incoherent. And I say, you know what I would say? I would say you're fired. Because that is not even something anybody can even take seriously. That you could say things like that. So, on to the next one. And again, the Kavanaugh thing, we took care of that. If anybody got any questions, callers call in. Go ahead. Now, like I said, we're gonna be jumping in and out over here, trying to get, into everything here. I'm gonna try to take everything: world economics, world policy, inside politics, the United States politics and all that, and the important key points. And here's one. Looks like it's from investmentwatchblog.com. Anderson Cooper on CNN years ago going on about the massive pedophile ring involving 5,000 U.S. government officials and military personnel, some being high-ranking. I don't know if I have to repeat that or not, but Tom and Jack better be posting that on the Geezy Truth News network, because that is a no-brainer. And especially from a guy like Anderson Cooper, who there's been apparently numerous reports about him being part of the Bilderbergers. I don't have any evidence right in front of my face, but anybody who does, I'm sure it's there. A quick search on the engine, on the internet, while it's still there, would be able to be shown. So, and not to mention all these crazy things. I mean, there's so many things. The black budgets, the Pentagon audit, all these. I mean, it's crazy. The trillions of dollars missing. I mean, there's a lot of things. The bankers. So, we're all taking one step at a time here. So, the point of that article is to say that, look, he has, some people want to say, everybody's bad, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that, look, he reported it once upon a time ago. And the thing is where's the Carfax? How come nobody addresses that? Get on the show. We're going to try over here at Geezy Truth News. Of course, nobody, just like Alex Jones, if he tries to get on the mainstream medias, they're not going to take him. No one's going to take anybody who's seriously trying to talk about real things. But he did right here. And you could check. It's on the network now. So, there's that. The Pedogate is a big deal. That's a main article. It's important. So, on top of all that, of course, we have all these problems. Look, there's bioengineering, there's biowarfare, there's lack of procedures, there's illegal activities going on constantly. Yeah, of course. What do you guys think? Who expects... you have to be cynical. Like this article here. 1.4 billion risk disease from lack of exercise, inactivity, pandemic. So there you go. So I don't know what's up with all this. And they quote the World Health Organization. It says the World Health Organization is saying recommends each adult to do at least 150 minutes moderate intensity exercise, such as brisk walking, swimming, or gentle cycling each week, or 75 minutes. Vigorous intensity activity, such as running or team sports. Okay, fantastic. That's probably the first thing I've heard. That's like the one thing that I've heard from them that's actually somewhat recommendable. Everything else, I mean, you can't believe anything these guys. The WHO, the WMF, the CDI, whatever it's called, and all these guys. And so this is ridiculous. Bottom line is, Investment Watch blog is saying that the 1.4 billion risk disease from lack of exercise. So I guess, I don't know, we must be packing a lot of pounds here. But you know, we try to, you got to be into it. You got to be into it, and you got to do what you got to do. So anyway, I thought I just might want to bring this into the topic cube, just because, I mean, let's face it, America. We know that we're not the healthiest country. So, just a little FYI, we got to start doing a little bit more exercise. So, there you have it. And if you want, Tom and Jack can post that on the on the Geezy Truth News Network. Alright, on to the next thing. Okay, great. So looks like this next one is about the economy. Thought we were going to talk about this later, but let's see. Okay, so the economic impact of the 2018 currency crisis is now being felt. Now, a lot of things can be said about all this. And again, callers call in, because as much as y'all think, I don't like the sound of my own voice. So please, call in and let's hear things. Let's talk about it. So, I mean, what is this article saying? The morning has brought more developments, blah, blah, blah. I mean, they're talking about the same thing that we've been talking about for years. Inflation, 2018, domestic producer price index increased. But on December of the previous year by 32. So it's declining, which exactly what the article says, the title. But again, you have to understand the core. You have to understand the foundation. The thing is that the very beginning is propped up. So, of course, I mean, this is all just no-brainers right here. This is no-brainers. And what can I tell you, you know? I'm not Houdini. I can't tell you guys what to do. You know? I can't tell you. If you want to invest in gold and silver, do that. That's a great hedge. It's a great hedge against the market. The market, we know, is inflated. We know it's a bubble. We know it's completely fake. So that's what that is. But that doesn't mean you can't abuse it while it's there. So, because to be honest, folks, remember a couple years back, I thought it was going to blow up by now. And here we are, September 5th, 2018. And I actually pulled up the market watch right here. And it's at 25,974 and 99. But so there you go. And then, of course, Market Watch says stock market has room to rally more than 10% by year end, says Fameable. So, I mean, look, you want to keep going, you want to keep going. Why not? I mean, if those 2 years, if you were in it, great. I just try to understand fundamentals. Everybody's different. I really don't believe in TA. I try to go for fundamentals, and what it is it's all fake. But like I said, and like any self-respecting economist would say, is to take it while you can. And of course, don't be greedy. I'm pretty sure that's, what's his face? Warren Buffett's famous words. But he is a whole different other story. So anyway, so there you go. 25,974. The Dow Jones Industrial Average. So it's going up so far, but you watch. It's going to be, when this crash is going to happen, I hate to be the old man that's going to keep, yawning about all this, creaking about all this, but it's going to happen, and everybody knows. Anybody who knows, knows. So there you go. Alright, here we go. We have a caller. Who changed the ringtone? I don't know who did that. Hello, caller. How are you doing?
What up? What's up, homie?
Welcome to Geezy Truth News. How may I help you? What do you have what would you like to talk about?
Shit, I don't know, bro. Shit, whatever you guys talking about, homie.
Well, we were just talking about the economy, and we were talking about the inflation, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. But there's a lot of things to talk about. What?
Oh, shit. What the fuck you talking about?
Talking about the economy.
Check it out, bro. I live in the hood, homie. You know what I mean? Fuck the economy. Fuck all that bullshit you guys talking about. You know what I mean? I live in the hood. I come from my own. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
I come from my own. Fuck the economy. Fuck Trump. Fuck all that bullshit you guys talking about. You know, I do me and me is me. You know what I mean? I get my own money. Fuck everything else.
All right. Well, good. But you realize you're helping the economy by doing that, and you want to help the economy because by helping the economy, you make more money. The more you do, the more you make for yourself. You know what I mean?
What?
The thing is that do you have any investments? Do you invest or do you plan for a hedge?
I only invest in my family. That's all I do. You know what I mean?
That's the first investment. That's the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
Invest in your family.
I invest in my family. I take care of my family. I do what's necessary for my family. That's all I do. Fuck everything else.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct about that. However, you could be making even more, or at least understand the situation at hand so you know what's going on. Otherwise, you got a head in the sand, and even though you may be doing what you have to do, you won't know what's going on as a whole. But I may be misjudging. Do you understand you understand the inflation and the economy? The thing that I was just talking about before you called is that the economy is highly inflated. So you have to protect against that, and you have to be prepared against that.
Look, whatever the fuck you guys talking about, inflation or whatever the fuck, I don't understand none of that.
Well, what it is okay, so pretty much you go to the store. Remember a few years back, a loaf of bread may have been like $1.50. Now it's like $3. That's inflation. That's what inflation means.
What's that?
The price goes higher as the dollar devalues.
Yeah.
So bottom line is save as much as you can and do what you got to do. You know what I mean? But also have a hedge. Like, for example, here's one of the main things, and you might already be doing this, but one of the biggest things I recommend to people is not keeping your money in your savings account. Because keeping that money, the bank is not holding it for your safety. They're holding it for their safety. So the banks are practically the enemy. You do not want to be doing anything with them. So you want to keep that out of the savings account. You want to be holding your stuff outside of the bank, or somewhere you trust, not the banks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's bro.
Huh?
So I just keep the money on me.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the whole thing.
That's what I do. Shit, I'm working, I cash my check.
Exactly. Because they can't have a single penny of that, because they're just going to squander it. They're going to steal it. They do bad things with it. So none of it means anything. So let's you want to talk about the next topic? I mean, you mentioned Donnie Boy. I mean, what do you think about him?
Fuck Trump.
Why?
Because he's a coward.
Why? How?
Why? I mean, everybody knows why, though. Like there's no hiding. Everybody knows why he's a coward and he's a punk.
What? So what are those reasons then?
Yeah, well, first of all this immigration shit is going on here in my city. You know what I mean?
He what?
All this immigration.
Oh yeah, the anti-immigration.
Yeah.
So you disapprove of that?
Yeah, because why is he gonna do that if we're working? I mean, I'm gonna say we because I'm Mexican too, right? But we out here working hard, and he wants to support all of us.
No, come on. That's not true. The thing is that he's trying to keep illegals out. He's not trying to keep legals out. He's not trying to keep... The only people he's trying to keep out are the illegals, because a lot of the times the illegals are doing bad things. And they're under the radar. They're not paying taxes and all that. So you pay taxes. I pay taxes. Why should a different group... It doesn't matter, Mexican, Asian, Bangladesh. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're not paying, if you and I are paying taxes, why should the other people not have to pay taxes? Hello? Well, I guess the caller had a bad connection or something like that. But anyway, I guess yeah, if the caller calls back in, bring him in. If not, callers call in. So, on to the next part. Yeah, we already talked about this. The insider scoop. I am part of the resistance inside of the Trump administration. I work for the president, but like-minded colleagues and I have vowed to thwart parts of his agenda and his worst inclinations. I mean, this is terrible. I mean, we have such a battle. We have such a feud here. And instead of talking like grown adults, they're doing these texts, or they're calling each other names. I mean, it is quite ludicrous. So there's that article. And the next article, we already know. Privacy is not absolute. Spy Alliance wants easier access to your encrypted messages. This is all very obvious. Demands access to encrypted data. Exactly. So, but look, they'll probably eventually get to it. And if it happens, it happens. It is what it is. But you have to understand, you can't... one of the famous arguments to that is, well, if you have nothing to hide, then why not... That's silly. That's ridiculous. That's like saying, well, they're the same people, so we might as well give the white flag and give them everything. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, look, everybody is their own person. I mean, why should our Constitution says that you can't own somebody, you can't control somebody, you can't do all these ridiculous things. You know, the government cannot spy on you. You have the right to privacy, which is which I understand. There is no privacy. You know, that's a whole different conversation. All these are long conversations to each topic. But the point of the matter is you need to have the self-respect to understand, first of all, this is the United States of America, ladies and gents. Look, we love the world. We want to care for the world. We love all other countries. We want to take care of everybody for the most part. However, the thing is that, you know, you got to do what you got to do, but you also have to stand your ground. You need to be knowledgeable. You need to be a patriot. You need to be educated, and learn the foundation upon your country was founded upon. So there you go. All right. I think it's almost time for a snack break or something. Like, Israel promises to keep hitting Syria. Will consider any international deals irrelevant. Oh boy, this is going to be a tough one. I mean, not really, but you know what I mean. The thing is, we're here live in Melbourne, Australia, for anybody who's interested. So we got the Marmite here on cue. So that's going to be nice. But, I mean, bottom line is the Israel promises to keep hitting Syria. Will consider any international deals irrelevant. I mean, this is not surprising. We know how countries have acted before, including Israel. And look, I mean, the Middle East is the Middle East. I mean, they're obviously, it's all, most people would say that it's all comes down to money. It's the oil, it's the money, it's the this, it's the that, it's the I'll pull your arm, you'll pull mine kind of thing. So, I mean, that's all it is. And look, Israel is not saying that they're innocent, and neither is any other country. But the reason why all this is happening is that people are selfish, or maybe I should say governments, and have their own agendas. Everything's agenda. Oh, don't even get me started. We're probably going to get to the Democrats eventually here. I mean, the things that they've been trying to say and do and pass the laws. And we've been talking about all of that is coming up as well. So, I mean, you hear that there's a lot of pressure, and we'll talk about Russia as well. A lot of pressure for Russia. There's a lot of explanation going on there. But the thing is that everybody's trying to look out for their own hide. So yeah, Israel promises to keep hitting Syria. So there you go. Syria doesn't want that. Russia is in alliance with everybody. You know, well, I mean, they're friends with Israel. They're friends with Syria. So everybody's trying to deal with a little pull and tug here and there. And some may argue with me that no, they're not. Well, they make agreements, don't they? They make negotiations, don't they? So if that's the case, they're allies. To me, if you're not ally, you're bombing the shit out of your opponent, and that's what's happening with key aspects with certain countries. So there's that. Does Tom and Jerry need to post the article for that? There you go. Next one. And I wish the caller didn't hang up, because this is also an interesting article that pertains to this. The thing is that when he was saying that he was against the anti-migration, But the thing is he's American, he's working, he's paying taxes. These illegals come in, and they're either going to steal your job, which is the best case scenario, and the worst case scenario is that they're going to be doing real bad things around the neighborhood. With the MS-13, all kinds of things. Who knows? I'm not just pertaining to Mexicans. I'm talking about everybody. Illegals. Look, there's the law. The law is there for a reason. You don't like it? Change the law. But with it, you'll have to go through the executive and the judicial and all that. And the Senate. But that's why you gotta do what you gotta do. So here, this new study says that a new study rejects idea that Americans won't do certain jobs. So there you go. I mean, that just proves right there. Only 6 of the 474 job categories defined by the Chamber of Commerce are filled by a majority of immigrants, and none of the occupations are dominated by illegal immigrants, according to a study released by the Center for Immigration Studies on August 26th. So there you go. That's a little bit of cannon fodder for the demis, huh? And not that I'm saying the repubs are, any better. They're all scoundrels. They're all scum and scoundrels. Speaking of which, we have interesting things coming up later in the next few weeks we'll be talking about. I think we will be creating a new organization. So, not trying to divulge any information just yet, but the sneak peek is going to be interesting. Pretty much most of the stuff that we're talking about now, we're going to try and do. And there's a lot of people who are already doing these things, and we want to get in touch with all those guys. And that's what's important. That's the only way. Otherwise, it's a loss. Otherwise, everybody takes an L, and we get on with our lives for however short they may be. So again, the pharmaceutical, the medical industrial complex, blah, blah, blah. All this ridiculous article from K2UU.com, KTUU.com. Major opioid maker to pay for overdose antidote development. So, I mean, that sounds like a good thing, but also at the same time, it seems like a band-aid to the problem. Because we know the real problem is over in the Middle East. And speaking of which, when we were just talking about that, the opium crisis, there you have it. So that's what that is. If anybody catches my lingo there. It is what it is, It's a tough cookie to swallow, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Where's everybody at? Gotta get people to figure things out. Next article is actually quite interesting. Active and restless Alaska volcano prompts flight advisory. So, Alaska may be having a eruption soon-ish. That's interesting. I didn't even know about that. But it's to be expected. Over in the Pacific Northwest, and I think it might be the whole West Coast, actually. There's this famous, is the San Andreas Fault, I believe is what it's called. And it goes across the whole West Coast. And it hasn't hit, the last time it was hit was around the 1700s. And when it hits, again, it's due every 300 years, which is about now. About 2018, we're overdue, actually. And so, they're saying that it's going to be a big whammy, and that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be, I highly recommend everybody to do the best they can to prepare. I mean, what else can you do? I mean, there's a giant earthquake. All these things, you gotta have water, food, all this stuff. I mean, I have no idea, at least a couple weeks in preparedness or something, because who knows? It's a big deal. So I don't know if I just said that or not, but there you go. And Oh yeah, and then this fun little article that happened. It, I mean, this funny Marco Rubio, Alex Jones meeting, whatever you want to call it. What happened? It is what it is. I mean, good job for Alex Jones being at the stage, talking to Marco, doing what he's got to do. And I mean, it was nothing special. It's nothing to look at. I mean, they just had like a exchange of a couple words. But Alex Jones, at the same time, is great. He's doing his job, which is all you can ask for the man. What he's doing is wonders. He's one of the leaders of the change movement, as opposed to what Obama was trying to do. We are change, or hope for change, whatever his motto was. He didn't do a lick for 8 years. Well, meanwhile, Alex Jones he's making some waves. You know, I'm not gonna. It's like, come on now, can't deny that. Anybody who denies that should call on my show and tell me why they think that way, and see what they're doing. Marco Rubio. He seemed kind of shady in the video too, so if you want to look into that, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Can't believe he was running for president. A lot of shady characters. A lot of shady characters around these parts. That's for sure. You gotta watch out. So there's this new thing, this new, what is this? Outrage about Nike. Outrage against Nike explodes online. Slave factories. Evil Monster Corporation makes users want to puke, plus videos. So there you go. I mean, it is what we've all been suspecting. You know, it takes a while. You hear about what's that one famous saying? There's a one famous, first they laughed at me, and then they attacked me, and now they agree with me. Whoever said that quote is exactly right. Because here you have it, here. Remember a few years back, we started, I mean, I don't know about all the, the deets about when the rumors started happening or what, but I remember a few years back when most people didn't know about it, and then just reading about it, learning about it, and now there's evidence, and then there's soon going to be agreement, and it's pretty interesting. So wherever it went, I don't even know, right here. There you go. And then here's the great thing. Here's a flashback. I'm glad people are taking this seriously. The lawyers' petition for 9/11 grand jury. And the first comment says, "Thank you. They thought we'd all just forget all about 9/11. They were wrong." Exactly. Exactly. Can I do this? And most definitely have to check this out. This is a good one right here. Alright. I thought we have so much more to talk about. Looks like our time slot is almost running out. And again, who is instigating a hot war between NATO and Russia? I mean, a lot of things could be said about all this. The bottom line is, it's all about money. We'll see how Donny Boy handles all this. All these things, they keep talking impeachment, they keep talking all these things, but it's not happening. Nothing's happening. There's a lot of talk and no walk. So until it happens, let's hear it. And you know what? There's nothing we could say to Russia. Well, that's not true. We can say a lot to Russia. However, nobody has any leverage here because we both break the rules. And unfortunately, unlike the two-tier system here in the or in the United States of America. Right now we're in Melbourne, Australia, but usually we're stationed in the United States of America. And there's we both break the rules, and there's no double standard in terms of that. So there you go. Sorry guys, I gotta wrap this up. We got like 9 minutes left. I gotta hurry this up. Callers, call in if you want to make it. 8 minutes left. U.S. blocking Syrian refugees return to army-held regions. So that's kind of sketchy. But we all know what we're doing there in the first place. We're just trying to secure those oil pipelines. Not that, as if we don't have a bunch here. As if we don't know where oil comes from. And there you go. These are all the articles that have been coming out recently. The U.S.-led coalition forces stationed in Syria's Al-Tanf region are preventing the refugees at Al-Rukban camp from returning to the army-held areas, descendant affiliates said Wednesday. So I mean, if we could get some kind of spec ops over here on the show and talk about what he wants to talk about, I mean, most of it is, I'm sure, is privileged information anyway, but if the news is getting a hold of this, all this means is that there's a lot of pans on the stove, a lot of pots and pans on the stove, not a whole lot. You try to secure everything, you let a couple loose on accident, or maybe on purpose, depending on the scenario or the situation. But that's how it goes. What do you expect? And again, talking about all these news, the number one thing that really matters is the pedogate thing. That's the number one thing. And then the second one thing is the Fed. And those are really the two main important things. Everything else is a side distraction. Yeah, there's things happening in the Middle East. Yeah, there's the kerfuffles between the North and the South. Yeah, there's all these problems going on everywhere. Anywhere you look is going to be a problem. So you need to focus on the things that really matter. Otherwise, if you look at the little things, you're not going to... It's too much information. It's too much info, ladies and gents. So, there's that. And on top of that, I mean, this is just outrageous. But again, nothing unheard of. U.S.-made missiles found in terrorist base in Quinitra. I mean, you could have the benefit of the doubt. You can think what you want. Yeah, we got the white hats and we got the black hats. You know, what do you expect? We got the good guys, we got the bad guys. That's what they call them, that's what they do. So, and this is farsnews.com, so I have no idea. I mean, take everything for grain. This isn't confirmed, but at the same time, we've found these types of scenarios before. So there that is. So the economy bottom line is, like, all of this, you see that everything is based off weapons and warfare and money and inflation and all this stuff. So just figure out what you want to do and figure out what you can do. I mean, if you want to invest in the stock market, can't promise you anything. If this is going to keep going up, it's going to keep going up. But it looks like honestly, it looks like it's coming into an end. And look at South Africa here. South Africa slid into an official recession Tuesday. As second quarter growth domestic product figures showed a contraction of 0.7%. The second straight quarter of decline. First quarter figures were revised down from negative 2.2% to negative 2.6%. So if that's the start, South Africa is part of the BRICS nations. So that kind of echoes with what I just said. There's that. And back to U.S. politics. Jeremy Corsi, conspiracy theorist, is subpoenaed in Mueller investigation. So that should be fun. I mean, all of this is, yeah, they said Friday, I believe. And we're going to see on Friday. Because it sounds like, it always seems like the SH is hitting the F. But whether they could keep it all up. If they could keep it up, then it's going to be a wild ride. But that'll be interesting. And then again with the Twitter disasters and all that, Zuckerberg terrified after millions agree with Fox News host over the fate of Facebook and Twitter. So, again, echoes with what we've all been saying. And we'll see how all that goes. Not that cool. So let's fast forward to, we're almost under wraps here. We're going to talk about the QAnon really quick. We're going to get that secret information that I was telling you about. And then I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up. And then maybe if we have time, we'll talk about crypto. If anybody's interested. Because the crypto is the way to go. Anything is the way to go besides fiat, right? So whatever you can think of. You'd be a smart person. Now, to talk about all this, let's see. It's going to be a big deal here about the Alright, here's the QAnon thing. This was posted today. Fellow patriots, what you are about to learn should not only scare you, but intensify your resolve to take back control. The information that will become public will further demonstrate the criminal and corrupt abuse of power that the Hussein administration undertook in joint efforts with domestic and foreign dignitaries. The snowball has begun rolling. There is no stopping it now. Stay the course and trust the plan. Protective measures are in place. Remain brave. We knew this day would come. United we stand. WWG1WGA. We fight. Conspiracy no more. Q. End quote. And that was posted today at 6:33, I assume, Eastern time. Alright, so there you go. And then the recent Donny Boy post, one of the recent ones. Just one. Treason. Very interesting. So there you go, folks. We're all out of time. Crypto is at 6,745. I mean, look, it is what it is. It's volatile. It's better than the market, stock market, in my opinion. But anybody can do anything. So there you go. Do what you can. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Geezy Truth News. I appreciate it. All the folks over here at the Geezy Truth News Network appreciate it. Thank you. Everyone have a great time, great week, great year if we don't see ya. We got to keep kicking ass. Keep being educated. Keep being patriots. And do the best you can. Jeezy is out. Thank you.